Director General Wu Yanbing. First of all, I'd like to give the floor to Minister Wang. Ladies and gentlemen, friends of the press, good afternoon. It's a great pleasure for me to meet you before the two sessions of this year, and I'd like to communicate with you all about issues in this area of science and technology. I'd like to thank you for your long-term attention and the support to our area. Thank you all for your respect and understanding, as well as your long-term support to science and development. And also, I would like to thank you for your truthful report of the role played by the science and technologies, and especially your report about the role played by the science and technology in fighting against the epidemic. So thank you all. Over the past year, under the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, our scientific research circle has applied the strategy of an innovative country and accelerated the commercialization of research findings. For major indicators, we have significant progress. We have made 2.17 trillion of investment into science and technology, and the contribution ratio of science and technology into economic development is 59%, and our investment into the scientific researches represent 2.19% of that GDP. We are ranking 14th for the scientific development in the world, and we are moving towards the goal of being an innovative country. During the outbreak of the COVID-19, we have confronted with a big challenge for the capacity of scientific researchers. With the requirements of the CPC Central Committee and the central government, we have organized 10 workforces to study about major drugs, vaccines, test agents, epidemiological studies, construction of the animal models, in total 5 categories and 83 key projects. We have mobilized the key experts to start the breakthroughs. And in the whole country, we have formed a synergy of the scientific research. This has also supported the work resumption in the country. Immediately, we have separated the strain of the virus, and we have shared it with the WHO. The whole genetic sequence is shared with the whole world. This is a solid foundation for the continuous researches on the virus. This has helped to deepen our understanding on the virus, and also has provided the important scientific results and proofs to the studies. We have also developed the treatments based on the serum and also the stem cells, etc. In a very short period of time, we have built the nucleic acid test as well as the antibody test. Our test agents have become more flexible and better targeted. We have multiple policies in place to promote the development of the vaccine. For example, the reorganized virus vector vaccine and inactivated vaccine development. And currently, we have also carried out international collaboration for the development of drugs and vaccines against the COVID-19. This is a huge contribution from our side. Those are hard-won results. And it is obtained under the strong leadership of CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core. And it's also thanks to the dedicated engagement of our workers in the scientific arena. It is also thanks to the completed system of science and technology development in the country. I'd like to pay tribute to all the scientific workers working now at the front line of the fight against the COVID-19. Over the past 1 year, we have made important progress in the scientific researches, which have helped to secure the country and also improve people's livelihood. First of all, for the key technologies, we have made new breakthroughs, as well as in the basic researches. We have realized 0 to 1 innovations, and for the basic disciplines like mathematics and physics, we have made important investments and also obtained important results. There are batches of results. For the first time, we have launched the lunar probe Chang'e 4 to the other side of the moon. That is one of the examples. Second, the scientific development has helped to boost the economic development. Major projects continue to reveal new results and is playing an important role in fostering the clustering of the innovative industries. The 5G technology is put into operation, and the innovative industries park have become an important carrier of those high-tech companies. There is an important output of value from 100 and more industrial innovation parks of more than 12 trillion RMB, representing 1/10 of the total economic growth. Number 3 is that we have used the scientific results to improve people's livelihood. There are more than 100,000 scientific workers to create major scientific companies, and there are 18 more clinical institutes for the studies. And for the key areas, for example, Beijing-Tianjin-Hebei area, we have put the focus in the air pollution resolution. Number 4 is that we have promoted the reform of the scientific research development. We have facilitated the commercialization of the research findings and improved the evaluation system of the scientific research findings. For 2019, the transaction value reached 2.2 trillion. That is higher than the total investments into scientific researches of the year. Number 5 is that more progress has been obtained in the international cooperation. This is one must for our work and is also one important move towards the building of a community of a shared future for mankind. China has collaborated with the others in the life science, environmental protection, and the other areas, and we have continued to carry out the implementation of the Belt and Road Initiative in the scientific area. For example, the transfer of the results of the researchers and also the construction of the industrial parks and clusters. We'd like to promote the development of major pillars of international collaboration. For example, in Macau, we have this kind of innovative industrial development projects. This year, we will continue to bring into full play the role of the science and technology in helping us in achieve the 6 stability goals. This will help us to achieve the final goal of an innovative country and building a moderately prosperous society in all aspects. It will also help us to move up the ladder in the international ranking of the innovative countries. That is all for my briefing today, and now the floor is open for your questions. Good afternoon. I'm from CCTV. According to the working plan, this year will be the year that China becomes an innovative country. It's also the last year of the 13th five-year plan. What is the current progress of the innovative endeavors, and what is the plan for the next five-year plan period? Talking about the innovative country, first of all, about its definition. First of all, we believe that science is the most important driver for economic development. And the scientific innovation should be compatible with the management innovation and the innovation of the economy and of business model. And we should pay attention to the point that science should be the driver or the driving force for the innovation of the others. And second, with the science and technology progress, we can push the national economy to a higher level and let more people benefit from the results of our research findings. and we can also make our part of contribution to the world's scientific researches. And for the layout of this innovative country plan, first of all, in the big picture of the national development, scientific development is at its core. And for science and talent building, they should belong to the important resources building of the country. We also consider the scientific development as an important factor of our policies. And next, science should help to secure the country, improve people's livelihood, and boost the economy. They should play a role of a pillar. So finally, we can be strong in the human resources and science technology, and thus in economy and social development. We have some statistics for the year 2019 and also some examples to share with you. First of all, the index of the innovative capacity. Usually, if the country can be ranking among the first 15, then it's an innovative country. First of all, the IPO has recognized China as the 14th innovative country, and in China, we also classify ourselves as the 15th country. So it's an important indicator to show that China has become an innovative country. We also have the comprehensive indicators. Some are restrictive ones, some others are guideline indicators. We have the biggest number of the patents. Most of them come from the innovation patent. And for the thesis and essays, we are ranking second in the world. And for 2019, the investment reached 2.17 trillion into scientific researches. That is 6 times the level of 2018. And it's 2.19% of the total GDP of China. It's at the similar level of that of European countries. And for the scientific progress contribution ratio reached 59%, and we can expect it to reach 60% in this year. For some high-tech industries, it's ranking first in the world. For example, 5G mobile telecommunication, high-speed railway, and new energies. For the scientific innovations, because in the scientific research there is never an end. So that is the same with our scientific development and innovative contributing. According to the working plans and the instructions of the State Council and the CPC Central Committee, we're about to elaborate the next 5-year plan, and top design, and also our working plans. The major guideline is the 3 directions. First, towards the front line of the scientific research in the world, and second, oriented by the China's major economic development priority task, and third is that we will make an analysis of the major momentum of the scientific researches in the whole world. We will analyze the major features of the current stage, and at the same time we will stick to the Chinese system with its own characteristics in order to have a better elaboration of the 14th five-year plan. We are also relying on the activities of the researchers and experts. They are the major driving force of this sector's development. So we will think about the ways to innovate, to mobilize them to make an innovation and also make further progress. And second, we will try to use the scientific research findings to strengthen the weak links in our economic development. And number 3 is to see how we could contribute to the world's scientific research development. Currently, in our national development, there are still some weak links, so we'd like to make more exploration to see whether we can use our scientific researches to benefit our people, our economy, and our country as a whole. Thank you. I'm from Bloomberg. As we know, in recent years, the overall strength of scientific research in China has progressed a lot. But we are still lagging behind in the original innovative capacity. So to your ministry, what is your plan to strengthen the independent innovative capacity? Thank you for your question. Talking about the basic researches, they are the fundamentals of our area. If we cannot have a consolidated fundamentals, then it's hard for us to catch up with the other aspects, and we cannot find a way out. We say that Newton is a great man because he has his strong capabilities in the fundamentals, the basic researches. That's why he can develop the 3 basic laws of physics. And also for Shannon, he has developed the theories of the mathematics-based telecommunication theory. That's why today we can base the 3G, 4G, 5G technology on his theories. And also the electromagnetic theory is also one important piece of the puzzle in the basic researches. And those basic puzzles are changing people's lives today. So in the scientific area, the basic researches constitute a very important part and fundamental part, and we will always give the priority to that. As I have mentioned before, over the past year, for the quantum sciences, the Hall effect, and also the atom-level graphite researches, there are materials that can shrink in high temperature and shrink in cold temperature. Those require our innovative capacity and also our attention in the policy making. You have noticed that we still have some shortcomings or weak links in the original innovative capacity. So today we have given more priority and focus to the basic researches over the past year. For the frontline researches and applied science researches, we have increased the investment. Compared to the other aspects, the investment in these 2 above-mentioned areas have registered a higher growth rate of more than 10%. At the same time, we are also considering the different features of the basic researches, the applied sciences researches, as well as the commercialization of the research findings. One feature with the basic researches is that it's hard to raise a question. Once we have a question, we are already halfway embracing the success. So to carry out and to boost the development of the basic researches, first you need to know what questions to ask. It's important to strengthen our communication with the international partners and also to promote the theoretic development for the traditional disciplines, for example, the chemistry, physics, and mathematics. If we cannot make important outbreaks with the thesis and essays and push forward the development of the major theories, then we cannot make a big bound forward. Like Newton has developed the 3 basic laws of the physics, you should follow his example and develop your capacity to have the abstract description of the basic laws and discoveries in this area. For the applied sciences, it has become a very popular topic today, like the AI and big data. But talking about the algorithm inside AI, we still are waiting for more progress and breakthroughs in this area. This is also one part of the basic researches. It's a big challenge not only to China's scientific research sector, but also to that of the world. For the computing capacity, how we can improve that? For example, like the AlphaGo 0. For a person, we only eat a few things and we can have 2 matches continuously, but we have to burn so much energy to support the running and operation of a computer in order to have a match of Go. So that is also an area to be strengthened in the future. And next thing, what is from 0 to 1 and what is from 1 to n? How can we realize this progress from 0 to 1? Is there a law to follow? Is there a regulation? For these subjects, we need to strengthen our communication with international experts. For example, the quantum mechanics, I have visited the Bohr laboratory. I came up with 5 questions, but after our communication with the head of that laboratory, I left with 10 questions in my head. For example, like Einstein and the other famous scientific personnel like Newton, they have extraordinary imaginary capacities, and for us, we also need to build up these skills and capacities. The government should also diversify and increase its investment. Just now I mentioned the increase of investment into basic sciences by 10% in the future. I think we need to add up more support to that area. When we are doing investments in other areas, we should not ignore science and technology sector. With more investment, we can feel more freedom and more tranquility in doing the basic researches. Usually, you need a lot of patience in doing the basic researches. Basic researches are quite different from the applied sciences or the commercialization of the research findings. Because after elaborating a thesis about the basic researches, there will be a lot more critics or comments from the whole world. You have to get the conclusion of your thesis justified. And in too many cases, we observed that a lot of experiments are abandoned halfway because the results cannot come back to prove its presumption. In that case, you have to stick to your purpose and stick to your ambition and never give up your efforts. Today, when we are talking about services to the science and technology sector, we should find the correct way and also build up an important and correct evaluation system. Basic sciences are different from the applied sciences, as I mentioned before. So for the evaluation system, they should also be differentiated from that of the applied sciences. All those will be the future priorities of the Ministry of Science and Technology. We will continue to work under the arrangements of the CPC Central Committee and also base our researches on the real demands of the society. You have asked a very good question. We will give thorough consideration to that in the future, and we will also carry out more intensified international cooperation with our colleagues abroad. I have a following-up question. After your briefing, we know that scientific breakthroughs and studies have played an important role in fighting against the COVID-19. What major accomplishments have you made? Could you please make an example of the valuable research findings? In the past, I complained that I alone took all the questions. For example, during last year's 2 sessions, I took all the questions by myself. So today I'd like to give the floor to my colleague, Mr. Wu. He will give you the answer. Thank you for your question. After the outbreak of the COVID-19, with the clear requirement of General Secretary Xi Jinping, we have started the joint breakthrough mission led by the Ministry of Science and Technology and cooperated with 12 other authorities. The academician Zhong Nanshan is the leader of the expert team, and they are controlling the direction of the researchers. We are doing the epidemiological, pathogen development, test agent, vaccine development, drug development, animal models building, in total 5 major directions. According to the real demands in our work, we have set up 10 workforces. We have organized this team with the participation of the highest level of experts from across the country. We're always basing our researches on the real needs in order to help the prevention and control. With the shortest delay, we have separated the virus strain and we have shared the genomic sequence with the WHO. This is a basis of researches and development drug and vaccine for all the other countries in the whole world. It also has helped us to strengthen our understanding on the origin and spreading models of the COVID-19 virus. We have clarified the different ways of spreading, for example, by the droplets and also by the fecal to mouth, etc. All these have consolidated the foundation of our researches and also our development of the drugs and vaccines. We have published the genomic sequences of the virus, and relevant institutions and agencies have developed the test agents of nucleic acid test. We have also accelerated the development of the antibody test to have the quick test kits, which is developed from 0 to 1. And gradually, in order to accompany the test work, we have improved our product in its quality and its test capacity. In the very beginning, it takes 4 hours to accomplish one test, and in the end, finally, we have shortened that duration to half an hour, 45 minutes. So that is a big progress. In general, the test agents' capacity of China stays at the same level of that of the Western countries. the current production capacity and the test capacity can respond to the needs in the country. During the scientific researches, we have put the focus on the combination of scientific development and the medical care needs. So it's very important to make targeted scientific researches. We have, in the very beginning, fixed 3 drugs and 3 remedies. We have selected 3 major Western medicine, and also we have combined the traditional Chinese medicine as well as the serum treatment and stem cell treatment. The TCM has played an important role in the treatment of the COVID-19 patients. For example, the Lianhua Qingwen and the other drugs, they are very effective in the treatment of the patients. People are also following closely the development of the vaccines. Vaccine development is also one of our priority. We have 5 pathways to develop the vaccines at the same time. And in the country, we have 12 major projects to support development of the vaccines. During the development of the vaccines, we have also made readjustment of the organization of those research institutes. We have improved the services and also facilitated the approval of the development results. As is mentioned by our minister, we have respected the law and regulations and followed all the procedures necessary for the development of the vaccine. We have never skipped one single stage. Currently, for the 5 pathways of the vaccine, we have already accomplished the stage 1 and stage 2 clinical test of the adenovirus carrier vaccine. And for the other 4 pathways, we have also started the clinical trials. According to our knowledge, across the globe, there are 10 vaccines that have entered clinical trials. So we could tell that China is progressing very rapidly in this area. Together with WHO and the other epidemiological researchers associations, we have never stopped our collaboration. We have also incorporated the engagement of the enterprises. In a word, in our scientific researches, we are basing our researches on the real needs in order to solve the real problems. During the treatment of the patients and the epidemic control process, we have made tremendous efforts and the results are satisfying. I'd like to add up one more information. After the outbreak of the epidemic, we have noticed that science and technology have played an important role. It was so in the history and it will continue to be so currently in this moment. We have already noticed our responsibility. So on the eve of the traditional Spring Festival, we have started our researches related to the epidemic. For those workers on the front line of the medical care or working in the laboratories and research institutes, we have formed a synergy and we are in close communication so that we can have the integrated big picture of the joint studies. And number 3, we are aiming at our final goal and target. Our final goal is to use the scientific research results, whether it's a drug, a vaccine, or another result, we can win the battle against the COVID-19. And we have raised the question, what can we do in order to win the battle against the COVID-19? Whether it's publishing a thesis or publishing the data, all should be aimed at solving the problem of this epidemic. In China and across the world, we are continuing with our efforts in the epidemic prevention and control. We're still on the road, and I believe that science and technology will continue to play a crucial role, whether it's on the front line of development of a new drug or the selection of the existing drugs or the development of a vaccine. For the selection of existing drugs, we can find effective drug, but maybe not a wonder drug. There's more possibility of developing a wonder drug from the new drug. But at least with the existing drugs and tests, we can realize the transmission from 0 to 1, and gradually we can make improvement to the test kits and the test agents to make it more agile and more effective. And it's inevitable to build up the animal models. China is also leading the world in constructing the animal models. We have already set this solid foundation. At the same time, for the spread of the virus and also the tracing of the origin of the virus, we have also accomplished a lot of work. Next question, please. I'm from People's Daily. I have a question about the reform of the scientific system after the 18th CPC Congress. We have carried out a large-scale reform of the scientific system, but still there are more things to do, and there's room for improvement. And what will be your future considerations? This reform of the scientific system is a task given by the 18th CPC Congress during the third plenary meeting. This reform should be compatible with the pace of scientific and socio-economic development, and it should also enable science and technology to play a bigger role. On the one hand, we have to continue to support the scientific development, and on the other hand, we have to carry out the reform. We should have this double actions at the same time. The reform will stimulate the innovation, and the innovation will lead to development. That is our logic of development. People should be given a big priority, especially our scientific researchers. How could we create a better environment for them? How could we give them more financial support? Create a better platform for them to realize their personal value and receive more respect from the society? And how could we give them a decent life? All those are critical issues of our policy. For the scientific system reform, we should encourage the combination of scientific research findings and the socio-economic development. After recognizing the basic law of movement, like Archimedes' suddenly said, "I get it," when he's in the bathroom. We will first raise a question, find an answer to that question, and then we should use our scientific research findings to improve the economic development and improve people's livelihood. We notice that in the developed countries like the UK, US, Japan, etc., they have a very high level of economic development and also a strong capacity in the scientific researches. After the first industrial revolution, it's in the 18th century, and the second industrial revolution occurred in the US, that is in the mid-19th century. By the mid of 20th century, we have the Turing's theories that have helped to develop the whole information technology system. This also happened in the US. The innovation and commercialization of the science and technologies will surely promote the development of the economy, and today they will become further intertwined. That is why today we have put the focus in the synergy of both science and economy. Thirdly, the government alone cannot carry out the scientific researches. The responsibility of the government is to create an enabling environment so that it can attract all the people interested in the scientific researches to have an opportunity and have a good environment featuring the equality and transparency. Our job is to create a good environment. If we cannot rely on individuals or the market to realize this goal, then the government should step up its efforts. It's like we are boiling one kettle of water. You cannot tell that which particle attains 100 degrees first. But we know that if we continue with the heat, finally in the whole kettle, the whole body of the water can attain the 100 degrees. So for the reform of the scientific research, we have to stick to the three directions. First, the world-class frontline. Second, the strategic priorities of the country. And third, key areas related to the social development and people's livelihood. Usually for the scientific researches, it will bring huge changes to the society, and then it can be deep-rooted in people's daily life and in the socio-economic development. Moving forward, I believe that the reform will continue. We are shouldering a very heavy responsibility. For example, the reform of the scientific system will bring to us new requirements about the improvement of the scientific environment and platforms. The productivity will determine the production relations. When there's a progress with the productivity, then the production relations should follow. We need to attract more talents. In Western countries, they have the STEM, STEM, science and technology, mathematics development. This is their policy. What about the Chinese version? How could we attract more people to learn those basic disciplines and take it as their lifetime career? And how could we mobilize more people to devote themselves into those researches? And second is how could we use the scientific research findings to support the application of the national strategy? What is the role of the science and technology? What is the impact, and how big could be the impact? And thirdly, how could we improve this capacity building system? We are talking about the improvement of the innovative capacity and the building of the systems of innovation. Just now we have mentioned the basic researches. We have developed like the magnitude wave and the other researches. They will be of huge significance in the future application. Fourth, how could we balance the researches and the commercialization? We should have a guideline in place so we can strike a perfect balance between the two. What is our expectations for the scientific researches? What are the restrictions and what are the preferential policies to support them? And just now I have mentioned that science and technology researches, they are very disruptive. In the past, when the scientific raised the theory about information technology, no one could ever imagine that many years later until today, they can help to set up a much bigger network of telecommunication of 4G, 5G, etc. What's more, we have to carry out international collaboration. The scientific researchers know no borders. Maybe we will do the scientific researches separately, but in the end, we have to collaborate and share one with another and make the conclusion of the laws of the science world so that these will be the common treasury of our future generations. For our scientific research system and the scientific research capacity, it's working very well in normal days, but in critical times, for example, during the outbreak of the epidemic, what improvements could we realize? Could we be more efficient in the development of the vaccine and the drugs? Could we have a shorter waiting time after giving a test? Science and technology are not the end in itself. They should be helpful for us to solve all the problems in our daily development. That's why I say that the scientific development and its reform will never know its end. Thank you. I'm from the China Youth Journal. We know that big data and AI, as well as other new generations of technologies, have played an important role in the fight against the COVID-19. People have also huge expectations for them. So what is the future plan for those new generation of technologies? I'd like to give the floor to Mr. Qin Yong, the Director General of the High Technology. Thank you for your question, and I would like to thank you for your attention to the AI technology. The AI technology is a result and is also an inevitable stage of the information technology development. Today, AI is incorporated into the socio-economic development. It's also one of our priorities. It's a hot topic across the globe. Major countries in the world have already elaborated their plans for the AI development. They have increased their investment into this area. In China, in order to support the AI development, in 2017, with the approval of the CPC Central Committee, the State Council has published the planification of the AI in China, clarifying the objectives of the development, application, human resources development. This is a systematic layout. After publication of this guideline, and with our application of this planification, we have made tremendous achievements. The Ministry of Science and Technology has also attached great importance to the AI. And we have attached great importance to the application. First of all, we have organized the major projects based on AI. For example, the data intelligence, group intelligence, cross-media intelligence, human-robot intelligence, and a mixed intelligence. From the basic, fundamental researches, support system, and industrial commercialization of the research findings, we have all made arrangements of work. Until now, for the major projects, we have launched 2 batches of them with a central investment of 1 billion RMB. Secondly, we have created a batch of AI innovation platform. With these platforms, we are encouraging the institutions and enterprises to have an open source operation in order to lower the cost of the researchers and form a total ecosystem of the AI development, and also drive the development of the SMEs and make our industries more intelligent. Until now, we have 15 platforms of this kind, including the hardware, software, in smart medication, smart city management, etc. Thirdly, we have set up the experimental zones for the AI with the areas of experiments. We are exploring the application of AI technology. By doing that, we can support the business startups based on AI and also make traditional industries smarter. This is a way to incorporate AI development with the real economy. Until now, in Beijing, Shanghai, and other cities, in total, we have 11 experimental zones. We have just followed the press conference of the Ministry of Science and Technology.